Hello all my beautiful sisters from those other misters. Today I am filming the Create Your Own Eyeshadow Palette tag. This tag was started by Kat from Kitsch Snitch. She tagged me in it. Thank you very much. So the premise of this tag is you choose 12 eyeshadows from your collection that would make up your perfect eyeshadow palette. So you can choose from shades that are already in palettes, singles, pigments, whatever you want. Any eyeshadows that you love that would go into your perfect palette, you choose 12, which is about the size of a naked palette, and you basically swatch them all together and show us what your perfect palette would look like. So I've picked out 12 shades. I found this really difficult to do. I kept like backward and forwarding with shades and deciding that I didn't like shades and I do like shades, and it was really hard for me, but I have come up with my 12. Okay, so I'm going to start with my two highlighting shades that I would have in the palette. Now I was going to put in something that was kind of skin toned, a matte that I could use to also highlight, but I actually don't really use eyeshadows to highlight my eyes other than the very inner corners. I don't put anything on my brow bones because they're already really prominent. So if I put anything light or shimmery on there, it looks like they bulge out. It's not cool. So I chose two inner corner highlights and two shades that could also be used as face highlights. I might be cheating a little bit, but whatever. I'm here to break the rules. So my first shade is actually a Makeup Forever eyeshadow, and it's this one. This is 914, and it's basically, it's almost transparent. Like you almost can't see it on the skin unless the light hits it at a correct angle, and then it reflects purple and blue. It also has a tiny bit of glitter in there, which always reflects light. It's really interesting. It makes for a subtle inner corner highlight, or you can pop it over another shade to sort of bring a little bit of lightness to it. I also love to use it as a face highlight. It's really pretty. My next shade is also an inner corner highlight, or something I would use as a face highlight, and I'm totally cheating. I'm choosing something out of the Becca Afterglow palette. Now this is not an eye palette, this is a face palette. And I actually decided to go for Moonstone, which is a shimmering skin perfector. So it's technically a face highlight. Now the reason I went for Moonstone is that it's kind of, oh, Siri thinks I'm talking to her. No, Siri. Moonstone is kind of, it's in between a white and a champagne, and that's what I was looking for. Almost like an off-white or a very, very pale cream that had really like shimmery finish, a lot of light reflection. And I didn't really have anything in my stash, and then I pulled this out and I was like, yes, that's what I've been looking for. So I would definitely go with that. Again, use it as an inner corner highlight, even in all over the lid shade, or as a face highlight. Alright, my next three shades are kind of all over the lid shades, something that would add a little bit of sparkle but was also wearable on a day-to-day basis. So I picked out three shades. One of them is from the Too Faced Bonbons palette, and I went with Molasses Chip. So this is kind of a bronzy gold with a little bit of a rosy hint to it. Dead set, it is my favorite shadow out of the Bonbons palette. I love it. It's gorgeous. I've actually got quite a dip in there. I've been using it a lot recently. Another sort of bronzy shade that would make it into my palette is actually a pigment. This is the Bia pigment in the shade 01. Now, I would have this pressed in a pan. Using it on its own, it's a little bit hard to work with, but if you use an eyeshadow binding liquid and you press it, it is absolutely gorgeous. It's so easy to work with. This is very similar to Molasses Chip, but it's lighter in color, and also it has more of a reflect. It looks more metallic on the skin. So if I was looking for something that was more glittery and sparkly, which I love, this is what I would wear. My last neutral all over the lid shade is out of the Bare Minerals Regal Wardrobe palette. I love this palette, it's a favorite. The color I chose is Romp, which is down here. It's kind of like, it's almost like a taupey purple or like a dark grey violet. It's very different. It's unlike any other shade that I own. I'm not really a fan of cool eyeshadows on myself personally. They don't really suit my colouring, but this is one that I'm often reaching for. I love that shade, and I don't think it would be my perfect palette without it. My next shades would be matte crease colours, and I chose quite a few. I've got 4 here, and the reason I chose so many is because for someone like me, I've got small hooded eyes, so half the time all you can see of my makeup is what has been blended out in the crease. Unless you're talking to me for a long time and you're watching me blink, you don't really see what's on my eyes. So crease colours are important for me. I need a wide variety, otherwise I feel like I'm wearing the same makeup every single day. So my 4 are ranging in colour intensity basically. First one is out of the Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette, and that shade is Combust. So on me this is kind of like a greyish brown, but it's very soft. I can use this to soften up darker colours. I can use it as a crease colour on its own for when I'm going for like a no makeup look, I suppose, or it tones down a really sparkly lid colour. I love this shade. This palette on its own is pretty damn awesome, but Combust is amazing. I have a really big dip in there, and I'm kind of wondering if I can like buy a single because I love this shade. It's fantastic. Next matte crease color is out of the Modern Renaissance palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and the shade is this one here, Raw Sienna. So this is kind of like a combination of orange and light to mid-tone brown. It's not really like anything else that I own, and it's a nice warm crease color for just day-to-day wear. It's not too dark, so it's not, you know, edging on smoky eye. It's good for like going to see Nan or going to the supermarket or something like that. Very wearable, beautiful formulation, gorgeous color. My next matte crease color is out of the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette, and I went for Truffled. So this is like a warm, chocolatey, dark brown. I find it's really easy to wear. You can wear just a little bit and it's still suitable for daytime looks, or you can add more and ramp it up for a more neutral looking evening look. Lovely colour. Formula is actually really nice, pigmentation is really nice, and it's probably one of my favourite sort of mid to dark chocolatey warm browns in my stash. My last matte crease colour is actually out of the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette. Now I love purples on my eyes. My eyes range from like a dark green to a greyish blue. And purple is one of those colours that I can always pull off, which is, it's fantastic. I love the colour, it suits me, it's great. In my crease, I love to wear dark matte plummy purples, so I chose Punk from this particular palette. Now I was thinking, do I put in a black? And I thought, I really like black. It's a really great color for like deepening up a look, or creating straight up black smoky eye, but it can be hard to work with. So I thought, what is the next best thing? And for me, it is a dark plummy purple. You can wear a little bit for a subtle look or to darken up another shade, or you can layer, and it gets dark enough to almost look black. So for me, Punk is perfect. The formulation of this and the pigmentation is amazing as well. So definitely got to be in my palette. Alright, so my last three shades are pops of colour, and if you've watched me for a while, you know I love colour on the eyes. This is probably where I had the hardest time choosing my shades, but I picked them and I'm very happy with my selections. So the first one is an Inglot body pigment. It's in number 81. Now I would not have this as like a loose pot in my palette. It would be pressed with an eyeshadow binding fluid. When it's pressed that way, it makes it a lot easier to use. It really brings out the pigmentation. It gives it like this metal foiled effect. It's absolutely gorgeous. On the eye, it shifts from an orange gold to red. It is stunning. It is one of my favorites. In fact, nearly all of the Inglot pigments are like right on top of my favorites list. This one in particular though, I absolutely adore it. My next pop of colour is on the red and purple spectrum, and it is a MAC eyeshadow. It is this shade down here, or up here, I guess we'll turn it around. It's this one here. This is Star Violet. Now, I actually was introduced to this colour through one of the small MAC 9-pan palettes, the little mini ones. I had swatched this colour in store before and I didn't like the way it swatched. I thought, no, pigmentation isn't enough, it's not impressive. But I ended up with it in the plum palette that I bought, and when I used it I was like, okay, you don't swatch well, but when you're on the eye with a good primer you are absolutely glorious. So I went and bought myself a large full-size pan to go in my custom palette because I love it. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous combination of red, purple and a little bit of like yellowy gold. Absolutely stunning. I love it, love it, love it. And my final shade is a bright blue. I am bringing back the blue. So this is Cosmetic Kitchen Blue Curacao. Now, when you use this pigment on its own, it's not good. It's just not good. When you mix this with an eyeshadow binding liquid and you press it in a pan and then you apply it with a brush or your finger or anything, it doesn't matter, it looks like blue metal on your skin. It is absolutely amazing. I can't get over this. And you know, I actually wanted to put Danger in my palette from the Gwen Stefani Urban Decay palette, but Kat put it in hers, and I was like, no, one day we will make these palettes and I will own Kat's, but I also want to own mine, and I want to have slightly different shades. So this one is more of a bright blue, whereas the Danger has more depth and darkness to it. This is dead set one of my favorite eyeshadows at the moment. It is absolutely gorgeous. Alright, so now it's my job to show you what my palette would look like if it was all swatched on my arm. So we're going to get into the swatches and you can see what it looks like when it comes together. Alright, first we're going to start with Makeup Forever 914. Pretty purple, reflective, very subtle, but when the light hits it, so pretty. Then we have Becca Moonstone. So that is kind of like a very pale, creamy, champagne-ish, goldy color. It's not quite like a full-on champagne, but it's a little bit softer than just a stark white. So it's perfect for me. Next up is Molasses Chip from Too Faced. Oh, look at that. Look at that pigmentation. That's crazy. Gorgeous, gorgeous bronzy gold with a little bit of a rosy hint to it. Next up we have the Beer pigment in 01. And you can see, again, look at that crazy pigmentation. It's similar to molasses chip, but it's lighter and it's also more reflective. If you apply that wet or if you have it pressed in a pan, it's absolutely glorious. Then we have Bare Minerals Romp, and this is stunning. Again, look at that pigmentation, it's out of control. This is kind of like a sort of grey, violety, purplish. So pretty, so pretty. Alright, next I'm going to do the matte crease shade. So I've got Combust from the Urban Decay Smoky palette. This looks really quite light on my skin, but I find once it goes into my crease, it seems to darken quite a bit. It's kind of like almost like a foundation that oxidizes. It's strange, but I actually really like that about this eyeshadow. Then we have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Raw Sienna. So just a warm, sort of orangey brown, really pretty color. Goes well with my coloring, perfect for me. Then we have Truffled from the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette. And this is just a warm, dark brown. Followed by Punk from the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette, which is a dark purpley plum. This can grab and skip on the eye. I will be totally honest with that. Formulation isn't completely perfect, but if you use a base, like a powdery base, or you set your primer, it works quite well. I've really come to love that color. Alright, now for pops of color. I'm going to do Star Violet by MAC. And honestly, I feel like this does not swatch well. When it's on the eye, it applies so much better with a brush. But it's basically a reddish purple with like an orangey gold undertone to it. It's gorgeous on the eye. I've been loving it recently. Alright, my last two shades are the Inglot Body Pigment in number 81. So there it is there. Absolutely stunning. And the Cosmetic Kitchen in Blue Curacao. And that's that one right there. Alright, so there you have it, guys. That is my palette swatched. I'm inspired. I want to go put more eye makeup on right now. I love it. No, you focus. You focus on those shades. Alright guys, so those are the shades you would find in my perfect palette if I was to create my own. I am going to tag two other YouTubers. I'd like to tag Catherine Pye and Lauren May Beauty. I definitely want to see the types of shades that they would have in their palette. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of these types of videos, I'm actually going to leave a whole bunch down in the description box so you can check them out. If you decide to do this tag, maybe you have a YouTube account or a blog, or you might post a picture on Instagram or Facebook, let me know down in the comments. Link me to your palette. I definitely want to see what's in there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.